This is What's Wild in New Hampshire by wildlife biologist Eric Orp. Hey, I'm back up to Henniker to Wings of Dawn. Can you see? We got a hawk right there. I'm inside the eagle cage, the hawk cage. Whoop, the door just blew open. We don't want the bird going out. And who do we have here, and what are we talking about? Maria, announce yourself, and let's talk a little bit about the hawks I see perched about here. I'm in the middle of a barn that is full, well, not filled with hawk, but for me it's filled. What's going on, Maria?
Hi, I'm Maria Colby, and I'm the director of Wings of the Dawn, Wings Wildlife Rehab Center, and I have some broadwing hawks that have been in my care for the past few months. The majority of them came in with their had been exposed to toxic poison, and it did not kill them, but it debilitated them, so they
couldn't
would
food.
not fly.
Can't fly or
because
feed.
they had eaten some food that had been eating poison. Over there I have a broadwing hawk that is on the ground, and this is the usual way that they come in when they have one of the indicators that they have been poisoned. We do run some blood tests on them, and we check their to see what their red blood cell count is, and it's usually very low. We just had one fly by us, and you could see that he's still not quite ready to be able to be set free. It takes months for them to recuperate from the poisoning that they have ingested.
And you said you just got a fisher in. We know our fisher numbers are down. There was a time in the 80s that trappers were taking 600 or 800 fisher a year. Last year they took 26. So it's not just hawks and owls. There are other animals that are being impacted by potentially some of this same problem.
Yes, they are. I've seen a few different mammals, bobcat fisher, chipmunks,
Foxes.
and foxes all have had, been tested, and they did have rodenticide toxicity.
All right. Who else we have here with us today? Who wants to?
I'll go first. I'm Jesse Frazier with Critter Control. I also sit on the Wings of the Dawn board as well, so we're always volunteering and helping out. We also have
I'm Fox. I work for Jesse. I volunteer at Wings for
More
Maria.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Volunteers makes it happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
volunteers make it happen.
Yep,
for sure.
yeah. So tell us what you got here, Jess. And we're talking about rodenticides, the impact on wildlife, particularly hawks, well, predators. Basically, the animals that eat mice and squirrels and things like that are the ones that are most significantly probably impacted by this, right?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the things that hawks and foxes eat. So most people are going to want to be concerning themselves with mice and rats and chipmunks. These are going to be traps and things like that that they can use and not use poison. Live traps. This is actually Maria's new trap that she has. She's got some other live traps here as well too. We're going to go over some conventional snap traps as well too, and just kind of showcase some of those things that people. These are readily available on the market. They can buy at their corner like feed store, like a Blue Seal or Agway,
Right, sure.
as well as Amazon. They can order these things anywhere. So, Maria, do you want to explain this? Because this is actually your trap. This is a live trap for chipmunks or rats.
Yep.
So-
And it works very well. I catch
Nice.
rats in it all the
Okay,
time.
all right,
And
'cause-
what I do is I use like a source of food
Yep.
that would attract a rat or
Sure.
a squirrel,
Yep.
depending on what I'm going to try to trap. And say I'm going to trap a squirrel, I will use apple. And I'll
Okay.
set the apple
Sure.
inside here, where
Well,
inside here, and then there you can see that this is all enclosed.
yep.
A big apple, and then I'll put pieces of apple
Okay.
inside.
Try to lead 'em in,
the cage
sure.
itself,
yeah, nice.
And so what happens is the animal comes, smells the apple, and will come in to eat it,
Yeah.
and will come in and activate the one-way
Oh yeah, door.
and with its weight.
Yeah, so you can
And-
catch more than one animal in that
Yep.
trap. Nice.
And then the next,
Yeah.
I have caught 4 or 5 rats in this
Yeah,
trap
okay.
all at once.
Nice.
Once
The
you've caught
problem
one,
is, yeah.
the curiosity factor of,
Uh-huh.
hey, what's going
Oh,
on?
cool,
You
yeah.
catch more and
Yeah.
more.
Hey, I don't want you eating all that food. I want to.
That's right. The problem with these is it's a live trap.
Yeah, you got to
So
handle the
that's-
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
yeah.
have to handle the
Well, I
animal,
mean, you got
all
to
have
do
to
something
do
with
is
them.
do
Handle the
something
cage.
with
Yeah.
Yeah. So you handle it, and these come with a, you know,
Right.
with handles so you can carry it someplace. And what the company suggests is you drown
Yeah. We got a thunder shower going by. Hey, we're sharing the thunder shower with a bunch of hawks, and so Jess, tell us a little bit about the rodenticide issues. What I know there's been some bills proposed to reduce the availability of some of these, and tell us a little bit more about that end of the business.
So I think most pest control people are on the same page that we've got licensing and there's rules that we have to follow. Most consumers, which are going to be the residential household people, they're not reading the label. So any kind of house poison has a label that's on the backside. These are things that you shouldn't do with this product, where you can place it, where you can't. Anybody that has a pest control license, the label is the law. And that's been drilled into us forever. If it's not on this label, we can't do something with it. Really loud, sorry.
This might be your first, an interview with a thunder shower.
Exactly. At least we're not getting wet. So the label is the law. So we, no matter what pesticide we're using, that label dictates what we can and can't do with that product. Most consumers probably don't read this and they just rip the package open and they throw bait wherever. Whether that's inside their attic, inside their basement, outside. I did an inspection for a client a couple of years ago. She had bats, which are getting in the house in the attic, and she threw poison all over her yard, thinking that that would combat the bats that were inside her attic.
Right. Now, this the poison that's being used by operators, that's a particular one, and it's only for operators, correct?
So no, second generation anticoagulants, which is first generation was warfarin and some of those other things that came out in the 20s, 40s, and 50s. We switched to second generation because the first generation, the animals got used to it.
Okay.
So they would eat, warfarin is one of the main things they got used to, which basically allows the body not to clot.
Right.
These animals got used to it, so we had to go to the second generation of
Okay.
things. The problem is that the poisons that pest control operators can buy are the same poisons that Joe homeowner can buy off the shelf
really?
or
Wow.
online.
Wow.
It's the same formulations. It may not be the same name brand, but a lot of these name brands are also, you'll have parent companies that are the same for the professional versus the consumer. So it's the same quality, it's the same percentage of a poison.
Wow.
They're just applying them in a manner which it shouldn't be applied.
Okay.
Which, as far as a licensed pest control operator, we think that maybe that's contributing, maybe it's not. But if we could take those poisons away from at least residential people who are not following the label, I think rehabbers are on the same page as that, and I think some lawmakers are also on the same page as far as getting those poisons out of easy reach of the residential people who are not following those labels.
Okay.
You want to add anything to that, I'm sure?
Yeah, and some of the pest control companies also need to do a step
Yeah.
procedure, which
Yeah.
Critter Control I know does.
IPM, which is Integrated Pest Management, again, one of those things that have been drilled into us forever. As far as, hey, you don't leap to the most poisonous or the most effective or lethal thing. You're going to try all these other things first. You're going to do conventional trapping. You're going to seal up holes and gaps around the house.
So try to seal against
If
the
you can
pest.
exclude a house,
Yeah.
that's a permanent solution.
Right.
But not every structure,
Right.
I mean, Fox does a ton of seal up. Not every structure can be sealed.
Right.
But if you can kind of do those steps first before you get to just putting poison out everywhere, that's obviously going to be the best for the environment. It's best for the pocketbook as well too. You want to add anything on to exclusion? sealing holes and gaps on houses? How big a hole does a house need?
I mean, on paper, they say the size of a pencil eraser, but I think it's a little small. About a half-inch gap is big enough for a mouse to get in.
Yeah. So you can mouse-proof or critter-proof your building when possible.
Yep.
Step one.
Right.
Step
Trap two.
Yeah.
Potentially
Okay.
trap.
No,
Conventional
step
trap.
one
Yep.
is to clean up your act.
Oh, oh yeah, there was that
That's the
part.
first step.
We missed step one.
Yeah.
You know, food goes in metal containers.
Yeah.
You know, your bird seed needs to be in a metal container on your porch.
Yeah.
Exclude the food source.
Right.
Number
Habitat
one.
modification is the fancy word.
All right. Yep.
But it's-
Yep.
Actually trimming your yard, cutting back vegetation at least 18 inches from a structure.
Planting vegetation that can in fact deter animals from entering
Yeah,
their
okay.
homes.
Cutting
Yep.
the ivy off
Yeah.
the house that they're
Yeah.
climbing up the
Yeah.
ivy to
Yeah.
get onto
Oh,
the
yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
They do sell nowadays bird seed that is capsaicin laced.
Yep.
And although birds they do have the receptors for it, they can't really taste it.
Right.
So they'll eat it like normal, but rodents can taste the capsaicin, the hot sauce.
Okay,
essentially,
yep.
And they won't touch it.
Cool. So there are ways to curb inviting the critters in,
Right.
and then addressing it from removing the food source and
Maybe not using as much bird seed, maybe switching over to suet.
Okay.
So people don't like to use suet cakes because
Yep.
it's
Oh.
fatty and
Oh,
greasy.
yeah.
Food gloves on if you're a suet cake. Birds, as you know, they're gonna, like you and me, they're gonna have particular things that they like when they're
Yep.
at the bird feeder. I don't like this, I don't like that, all that
Goes
messes
onto
on
the ground.
and it's
Yep.
attracting more goats.
okay. Nice.
So,
So lots of helpful hints here.
Yeah. And as far as excluding, what we do is pack it full of animal-proof mesh, and then
Okay.
glue it in with any piece of caulking, or better would be metal flashing.
Yep.
Closing up
Oh,
the
yeah.
metal
Sure.
flashing so they can't get in at all.
Right. So remove the food source, exclude, and then trap when necessary, and then hopefully the pest control operators like yourselves that are licensed will use integrated pest management. Nice. All right, Maria, we're in the middle of a thunderstorm. I'm glad we're inside here. I can't wait to see you getting that lift out there to cut that branch down in a couple of minutes. Thank you all. Let's keep working on it. We know we're losing some wildlife. We need to act. We need to act soon. We need a cooperative effort to try to reduce our mortality of our hawks and owls, our fisher, our mink. All of our predators are being hit, and we need to act sooner than later. And let's get at it, folks. This is Wildlife Biologist Eric Orr. What's wild in New Hampshire?